6 years ago, Fortnite added a horrifying secret that still goes unsolved. In Wailing Woods, there was a hidden room. Looking inside of it, there were only two things in this room: a mirror and a teddy bear? We have no idea why Fortnite added this to the game. But in Chapter 1 Season 8, Fortnite added the jungle biome. This was awesome, but had another disturbing secret. In Sunny Steps, there was a hidden location with lots of tribal tents and stuff. But sadly, there was also a llama that had been killed and put on the fire. Such a dark secret. Okay, but this next one's not so dark. Many players know about the really good blue chests that have a rare chance of spawning, but did you know that there was an even better one before these came to the game? In Chapter 1, Fortnite added a location called the Block. This location had a unique feature where every week a random Fortnite creative map would be selected to put on the Fortnite island, and some players used this to sneak in overpowered chests. These chests guaranteed you a golden weapon and very good loot. But that's only a few of the many secrets in this video.
Did you know that Take the L, Laugh It Up, and a bunch of emotes were secretly banned from Fortnite? One day they secretly added a setting that allowed you to turn these emotes off, and they didn't even tell anyone. But this next secret is kinda sus, because Fortnite secretly changed the doghouse slay emote. This emote has your character like straddling the doghouse, but someone out there somehow figured out that if you put on a skin with a skirt, they change the way that they sit. Okay, but who figured this out? After years of being worked on, Fortnite finally released their first-person mode, Ballistics. But after only 2 weeks of being out, they already had removed it. I mean, you could still play the ranked version, but some players say it's too sweaty. But Fortnite removed a feature that was important to many players, and this actually had to do with a collaboration. Star Wars has been in the game for a long time, but in Chapter 3, Fortnite released the Darth Vader skin, and with his emote specifically for his skin, you could hear the Darth Vader breathing sound effect. But 2.5 years later, when they added a new Darth Vader skin, players expected to hear the breathing again when using the emotes, but it doesn't happen. It's only for the original Darth Vader skin. The Take a Seat emote had a huge change as well though. For the male skins, they put their foot on their knee, but for the female skin, she crosses her legs. This one just makes sense, I guess, but unlike the next one on this list, because in Chapter 3, Fortnite added the clombo. He gave you some good loot, he walked around the island, but after a few months of him being in the game, he was randomly removed. And Fortnite never told us why, until 3 years later when Fortnite added him back to LEGO. I mean, I'm glad we have him back a little bit, but why can't we just have him in Battle Royale? Fortnite made some huge changes to Battle Passes. They changed the prices from 950 V-Bucks to 1000 V-Bucks, but they also changed the way that Battle Passes function. For a few years, we have had Battle Stars. These would collect in your pass over time as you leveled up, and you can unlock your Battle Pass one by one. But in Chapter 6, Fortnite removed this, and now they just unlock over time automatically. But a fan favorite Fortnite emote was removed for good. Fortnite has gotten into a lot of trouble with copyright over the years. The original default audio was actually removed because it sounded too similar to something else. And then later that chapter, they brought out the tidy emote. But after some drama with its original creators, Fortnite decided they wouldn't bring this back. And to this day, it hasn't returned. But something else that hasn't returned is LTMs, also known as limited time modes. These were added in Chapter 1 to keep the game fresh. It would be a fun game modes like Floor is Lava, Snipers Only, Solid Gold. But at some point in early Chapter 2, Fortnite decided they would stop bringing these back. I think Fortnite would be much better if they just added some of these fun game modes back. But something that scared a bunch of players was when the giant turtle was randomly removed one update. Players were running around the island like, where is he, where is he? But it turned out he wasn't removed, but instead he was moved to a new location. Like and subscribe to keep Timmy the Turtle in the game. In 2023, we saw a glimpse of Fortnite OG, the original version, not the new one, but the version that was only out for a month long. Fortnite secretly had removed the iconic loading screen though. They ended up replacing it with a very clever version version where we get to see the other side of the classic wall. We even see Jones peeking around the corner. But in actual old Fortnite, there was this huge footprint on the ground. Players always wondered where it came from. Some thought maybe it was a dinosaur, others said maybe the monster from season 9. But 6 years after it was removed from the game, by the time that it was added back in OG, we have a Godzilla collaboration. Maybe that is what made this footprint after all. Okay, but in 2024's Winterfest, there was a huge theme. This was the hidden gingerbread men all around the island. They would do everything, from enjoying some bird food to burying a robot. These guys were out of control, but these sadly would be removed after the Winterfest ended. In day 1 of OG Fortnite, the slurp juices would heal 25 shield and 25 health. That was what it was like in the original season 1, but because Fortnite thought this wasn't good enough today, they changed it back to 75 HP, secretly removing the OG slurp juice and replacing it with the new one. But that isn't the only slurp juice that was removed, because in chapter 4 we had a very overpowered slurp juice that was the legendary slurp. This slurp healed 200 HP over time, and after Fortnite chapter 4, luckily we haven't seen this since. Okay, but in chapter 6, Fortnite added some crazy movement, with the ability to jump extra far on ledges and even bounce off walls. But when Fortnite OG came around, players were wondering if they'd keep this in the game, but instead Fortnite removed this and kept it OG. Well, kind of. They kept the sprinting and mantling, but honestly it's better that way. But another movement item was secretly removed in chapter 4. Many players didn't know this even existed because of how long it was removed. Hurdling was added for only a few weeks in chapter 4, and it was so buggy that it was removed and wasn't added fully back until chapter 5. One of the greatest vehicles in Fortnite was the tank. This vehicle was sadly removed after a few seasons, but before it was removed, if you went into replay mode and looked at your character inside the tank, it revealed that your character were actually using the controls properly. No one would have ever noticed this in game, so the devs really just did this for a secret detail. Remember earlier when I talked about Darth Vader? Well, there's another Darth Vader secret that has been removed, because when he was in the game as an NPC, he had a custom death animation when you would eliminate him, and this was of course removed when he left the game. But he isn't the only character to have a custom death animation, because when Peter Griffin came to the game, he also had a death animation, and it was pretty funny. But one of my favorite weapons in Fortnite actually kinda did have a secret too, because the Evo Chrome weapons would upgrade as you did damage. This was extremely underrated, and sadly we haven't seen this in the game since chapter 3. But that isn't the only chrome that was removed. So was the chrome splash, which allowed you to walk through walls. But a crazy detail in Fortnite chapter 2 was that when you walked into a new biome wearing a bush, the bush would change to match that biome, giving you a much better disguise. But something that was expected to come did not, because the Skibbity Toilet outfit came to the item shop, the cameraman skin with the toilet back bling. Use code PPJ, by the way. But when I was looking at this, I was like, so where's this Skibbity Toilet emote? And sadly, they never even added it. But a funny secret that was removed was in chapter 2 when the Coral Castle was added. If you went to the center area of Coral Castle, there was this little hallway that had a bunch of conch shells on it. These shells would play different tunes when you would use them, and some players even made a song. Fortnite removed something from the game that no one would notice today. Back in the day, Fortnite didn't have any special healing animations, but now they have these fancy, cool animations. This is just a small detail, but it looks so much better. This next one's hilarious though. Fortnite added a rip-off version of Among Us, and it was called Imposters. This had many tasks that you could do, and it was honestly a lot of fun. One of the tasks had you order a specific kind of pizza, and hilariously they called the pineapple topping Psycho. Imposters was sadly removed, but I mean honestly I think they should add it back. Something else that was a lot of fun were the toys. These toys would add a new spin to matches, and with a football you could throw, a soccer ball you could kick, and one of my favorites was the basketball. You could shoot these into hoops and it would actually work. But at some point in between then and now, Fortnite removed this and it doesn't even do anything anymore, which is sad. But another funnier glitch was when you could fly around the island like Superman. This was insane. If you timed it right, With the Oni mask, you could just fly forever. This next one had the whole community upset though, because in Chapter 5, Fortnite went all out for the metaverse, which was a good move overall, but they decided to remove the rarity on skins and emotes and pickaxes. This was a weird change and was hard to get used to for sure. Similar to when Fortnite added moving llamas. The llamas at some point in Chapter 2 one day just started running around. If you didn't kill them in time, they would rift to another location on the map, leaving you with absolutely nothing besides a few shields. One of Fortnite's most hyped weapons was the Zapatron. The Zapatron was only in the game for 1 hour in Season 1, with only like 2 players ever recording footage of it. Sadly, Fortnite removed this and never added it back. Not even in the remake in Fortnite OG. But that's kind of similar to the Guzzle Juice. This item was crazy for healing because it worked like a slurp juice, but kind of only for HP. This was only out in Chapter 3 and was never seen again besides Reload in 2024. But one of Fortnite's most annoying features was the healing items. Let me explain. In Chapter 1 through 4, you could only use heals when standing completely still. If you moved at all, the heals would be cancelled. And this would definitely ruin some matches, but in Chapter 5, Fortnite finally changed this. Now we can move around at whenever we want using the heals. In Chapter 4, Fortnite added a feature that was widely forgotten. There were some random locations that would be rifted in every match. Some gave you crazy heals, and some were straight up a death trap. We never saw this again after Chapter 4 though. One of the funniest moments in Fortnite was when the tree would land on your head and eliminate you, because in Chapter 3, Fortnite added physics to certain trees, allowing them to fall when broken down, and this made for some hilarious clips.
There was a secret way to get a free emote. Obviously, this whole season is based around gold and vaults, but did you know that if you spend enough gold in a vending machine, there is a chance to do the Make It Rain emote, even if you don't own it? Did you know that while using any wolf skin, if you walk up to this giant wolf mountain, it will actually howl? Okay, that was actually a really cool teaser, and maybe at the end of the season this will be some sort of live event. But Fortnite secretly revealed the future, because in a secret trailer they released on mobile, they accidentally showed off a rift gun. This gun will rift players somewhere when shot by it, kind of like a rift to go, but for enemy players. This would be a great way to get them away from you if you're trying to heal or reload, but I wonder what else it could be used for, because it doesn't seem too useful yet. Unlike this next one, because there are a ton of secret vaults on the island. It is right here on this south side of Outlaw Oasis. It just looks like a normal room. If you go up to them, you can turn them. And if you turn them all to face forward, it does something. So you break this, and there is a secret door underneath the carpet. And you drop down in here, and there is an awesome secret little vault. And actually, our next secret is in this room, because if you see this painting right here, it might look a little familiar. The reason that this painting looks so familiar is because it's actually a secret callback to Leonardo DiCaprio, an old movie and popular meme where he raises his glass. I don't think anybody expected that, but that's not the full secret, because hilariously, there's a chance you can walk inside and there is no loot in the vault. And instead of the picture of him raising his glass, it turns into a picture of him laughing at you. Okay, those were really cool secrets, but this next one has an insane attention to detail. Fortnite has made a secret change to vehicles. Let's see if you can tell the difference in this clip. If you paid really close attention to Fortnite cars in the past, you might have noticed that this has a car alarm, and it never did before. So I don't know why, but they decided to just add car alarms this season. It's a random detail, but I mean, I like it. Don't forget that in this video, there's a secret that gives you a mythic that really not many people know about. But only 3% of you guys watching are subscribed, so if you enjoy, please subscribe. And use code PBJ in the item shop if you would like to support me. Did you know that there's a secret way to get the Dilbit currency? In shiny shafts, there are these little pans all over the place. Some of them have gold, and if you destroy them, they drop the gold. But there's also a very rare chance that they will drop a Drillbit coin. Make sure to break these anytime you're near it, just in case. You've probably seen this next one, but it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in Fortnite. So I was just chilling at Outlaw Oasis and I saw this hot tub. And this hot tub has the sign that says 3 players max. So I was like, what would even happen if you put 4?
In the hot tub.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my god! Land back in! Oh, we can't land back in!
You get shot out of the sky. One of my favorite trolls they've ever done.
There's a secret way to get a ton of XP. Secretly hidden something that allows you to troll everyone. It's on my brand new map, Red vs. Blue Gun Game. So first off, this is the code for the new island, or you could just go and search PBJ and it should be on there. While you're there, follow me. Once you load in, you're gonna wanna go all the way over to the clock tower. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to get inside of, but once you're inside here, go towards the center of the room and emote. This will take you to a secret room, and it says you have found the secret room, claim your XP. You really thought I was gonna show you everything that was inside? Join up and troll your friends with this, and do it before I remove it.
But this next secret is really cool. There's an arcade in Crime City, and this isn't just any arcade. In fact, it is an old arcade full of old Epic Games titles. This is a very cool secret detail. Just like in Shining Shafts, there is a funny detail that not many people noticed. There's a sign that says days since accident, and you'd think, oh, this would be a good thing. How many days has it been since the last accident? But it says 0, which means they've had an accident today. Dude, this is just a terrible company. But there's a really cool secret detail that has to do with the kneecapper bat. This bat has a really cool animation if you swing it and hit someone. The character puts their hand over their face to cover their eyes and see how far they've hit the person. This is pretty clever. But the next one's kinda scary, because when walking around Crime City, there are many bad things you can see. But one of them is a missing poster for a lamb? This might just seem like any normal missing poster until you realize that the main bad guy this season is a wolf, and wolves love to mess with lambs. So I think I know who took it. But did you know that with the Mortal Kombat gloves, you can actually walk on water? And that's not the only Mortal Kombat secret. There's a few other ones as well in this video. But did you know there's a secret rivalry happening on the island? Okay, so the alpha wolf guy just shows up, and in most of his buildings, we can see references to bird. And they're not good references at all. For instance, one of them has the bird logo as a dartboard, and they've been using it to throw at him. Okay, this is just kind of sad. But this next one is a little bit concerning, because if you pay close attention in the bathrooms of the new locations, there is something a little bit weird. We all know that the new guy is a wolf, but he takes this a little bit too seriously, because instead of toilet paper in the bathrooms, it's these little dog poop bags. I mean, just look at it, it's a little weird. This next one's not as disturbing, but can get you some extremely good loot. Because if you make your way to Shiny Shafts, there are a few hidden rooms. So first off, there's all sorts of entries and stuff, which is really cool, but this location has so many secrets hidden around it. If you make your way inside, you can find this, number 8. This number 8 hole has a crane digging it, but you can actually break the rocks yourself, and behind the rocks are a bunch of gold, but that's not the best one. This next one is nothing like this. It's not another one of those caves with a hole. Instead, it's a secret vault that nobody knows about. And it takes some searching to actually find. So let me show you. Okay, so you have to find 3 of these little wheels. You spin it, and there's 2 more. All right, we just gotta find the other 2. Here's another one. So there's one all the way down there by the door. There's one up here. Turn that one. All right, it's right here, so it's kind of harder to find, but it's right across the number 1 entrance. If we push it, it should open. No? All right, let's go see if it opened. It opened? It did, it opened. So you have to do them in close order. It took me too long to do it, so that's why it didn't work. But the doors will slowly open, and there's a bunch of chests. But a hilarious detail was the classic robots. Last season, they were moving around the island doing funny things, but this season, they still are. If you paid close attention, you can see them all over the place, and a few of them are even sitting in the sauna. But before we talk about the mythic item, did you know that there's a huge secret with the Sub-Zero mythic? If you eliminate a player without taking any damage, it will play this audio.
Flawless victory.
Flawless victory, of course. That's an awesome secret.
Everyone has mixed opinions on Big Dill, but there's a hilarious secret conversation that he has with Kendo from last season. You see, Kendo has these pickles in jars on his skin. And when you talk to Big Dill, he notices this and freaks out. But now for the Mythic. But first, use code PBJ if you've been enjoying. And join the Discord in the description. There's a Mythic in the game that not too many people know about. Last season we had the Shogun X boss, and this season he's still here for some reason. But most players overlook this because he was here last season and they just say, well, he's not that good anymore, he's old. But this season he has a new Mythic, and it's just the old Mythic AR, but he also has a secret medallion. This medallion puts up a shield bubble when you use healing, which is very helpful. And a lot of people overlook this. Watch the video on the screen to see 100 times Fortnite trolled YouTubers. I'll see you there. Use code PBJ and play my new map.